Hello everyone. Oh, I seem to be having a slight technical difficulty with my camera. That is not a problem. I shall get that sorted very, very quickly. I do apologise, guys. In the effort to get everything set up and properly, I've excluded my camera. But we will... There we go. All done. Right, okay. Fantastic. Welcome on in, guys. I hope we're all well and ready for another lovely live stream this evening. I hope we're all excited. I'm going to be doing some lessons with the Oxide inks this evening, showing you various different techniques and things that you can do with them. Hi Emma, thank you for coming in. How are you doing, my lovely? I'm just going to get a couple of colours out just whilst we're waiting for everyone to drop on in. And I'm going to try and pick at least one colour from each colour family so we can see exactly what we've got going on here. Let's see. I'm going to pick some of the bright ones, I think, today. We're going to go with that one. And we'll go with that one. Oh, that's good. Let's go with that one. I love Villainous Potion. And we'll use our lovely new Scorched Timber. This is a very new one. This has literally just come out in the last couple of weeks. So I'm really happy to actually have my hands on this one. I'm glad it arrived. Right, so I have selected my colours for this evening. Not only this, we do also have some of the Oxide sprays. Now I'm just going to get a small selection of these down also because I will be using them during the live, and we're going to be using some of the re-inkers as well. So I'm just going to get a couple of the different colours down. And my lovely spray gun here. So I've written down a few of the things that I'd like to show you guys this evening. So I'm going to show you how to do some faux blending. No, sorry, faux bleaching, not faux blending, because blending is just blending. Faux bleaching and blending, some ink smooshing. I'm going to show you some work around stencils. So I've got this lovely bubbly stencil down as well. We're going to use some spritzing techniques. I'm going to do some painting techniques, some letterpressing techniques, heat embossing, and I'm going to show you how you can use simple things such as plastic packaging and grease-proof paper to make some really good effective backgrounds and such. And I'm also going to show you how to use this lovely air spray gun. Now this was one that I picked up from... oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the place, but it was from a kit that was produced by Nerdy Crafter and Smart Art. I think you can still pick the airbrush up generally just on the internet anyway, so I'll try and find some links, and if I do, I'll stick them into the comment section because this is a wonderful and handy thing to have. It is so brilliant. So the overall thing for tonight I'm going to be showing you is how to use the Oxide inks, the Oxide sprays, and the re-inkers to do some really cool fun things. I was hoping I had a blue re-inker actually, but I don't think I do. How bad is that? I really, really ought to have had a blue one, but never mind. That's fine. We can make it work. So I'm just going to get those out of the way for now, and we're just going to start off with the ink pads themselves. Now, hi Crafty Stacey Lou, thank you for dropping in. I know a lot of you probably already know what these Oxide pads are, but I would like just to explain just in case. So these are what some companies call a duo pad. These have ink and pigment dye in them, and they can be used for the multitude of things that obviously I'm going to be using them for this evening. Hi Corinne, aloha Corinne even I should say. Thank you for coming in, darling. I really appreciate you being here. So it's a multitude of things you can do with these just based on the fact that they are both ink and also pigment. Sorry, dye inks and pigment. But the one thing I struggle to do with them is heat embossing. So for the heat embossing that I will be doing this evening, I'll be using my VersaFine Clair as normal. It's just going to be to build up texture on what we're going to be making anyway, but this is the primary focus of everything this evening, is everything oxide. So if anyone has any questions already based on what I've told you, you're more than welcome to go ahead whilst I'm going to set up for the first technique. Now, the first technique is one of my favourites. It is one of my favourites, I can't lie. It's going to be ink smooshing. So I'm just going to get out a few scraps of card. And for this you can either use watercolour or any of your like stamping card, anything like that. In fact, I do have a scrap of watercolour and a scrap of Nina card, so I will use both of these just to show you how to make a quick background. So let's just trim that down to a decent shape. And you can always tell the difference between your Nina card or stamping card and your watercolour card, because the watercolour card has a little kind of grainy, wavy texture in it, and your stamping card or Nina card is always nice and smooth. So, as you guys know, I absolutely love my nautical stuff, so I'm going to be doing some sea-themed smooshing right now. So, I'm just going to go straight onto my glass mat with some of my ink. Now, I'm trying not to go too hard with it. And I'm just going to put that bit up there because I don't need that right now, but I'm focusing more on my blue at the moment. The one thing you will need is a spritzy water bottle. Now, you can use anything, really. This is an old cleaning one that I've just literally filled with water. But just to make sure that that gets all mixed up there, I've sprayed on there, and you can see how it's activated and it's pulling all the ink around. You're just here eating your tea. Well, I hope you enjoy your tea, my darling. And I'm just going to very gently just smoosh. I think I might have gone a little bit overboard with the amount of ink that I put down there, but... And you can see how it gives us that lovely effect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly... Normally I wouldn't waste this, but I'm just going to wipe that away because I'm not going to need that for a while, and I don't want to leave a mess on my table. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my heat gun to encourage this to dry, and what I'll do as well is I'll encourage the ink to actually go around whilst it's still wet, because it gives it a much, it helps the effect of the smooshing. So I'm just going to chase the ink to wherever it wants to go. Here we go. And that's our first layer of ink down. Now, what you want... Hi Michelle, thank you for coming in. It is lovely to see you. Now, what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to load this up with some other blues as well, because I want to give it that sea-like texture. I want it to look like... I want it to look like the deep briny blue. So I'm going to put down a little bit of my Uncharted Mariner. And again, I'm just going to activate it. And I'm just going to smoosh it over, and because we've dried that previous layer, we are not going to get any colour transferal. It's going to be its own individual layer, and it adds a nice it adds a really nice effect to the card. So now I'm just going to do the same with that green, and I'm going to get down another green as well. I'm just going to quickly pop that Uncharted Mariner back. Right, where's my spray bottle? Wait till we get to the slightly more exciting stuff. I thought, you know what, I'll build up. We'll crescendo. We're not going to go in hard and fast to begin with, because nobody likes it. No, Gareth, shut up. Nobody wants that to happen, especially on a live. So, right, I'm just going to do the same as what I did. Except I'm going to be a little bit more picky on where this green's going because it's quite a vibrant green. And I'm not going to use as much of it as I did the blues because that's actually a very, very vibrant green. Let's pop that back and we're going to get a slightly darker green. Pop that down there. Where's the snacks? The snacks are in the post. Right, so there we go, and you can see like how we're layering this. It's just literally coming together to be like quite greeny and briny, like sea-like. Let's put that back up there. Give that a little spritz, and I'm just going to go quite. Oh, I didn't use enough of that one, did I? Well, it's better to have used too little than too much to start with. So I'll re-spritz that. And we'll just get in there and give it another good smoosh in. Now my aim is generally to cover all of the colourless card, but you can never really get a clear set out on this. But the best thing about it is that you always get a different, you always end up with a different look. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of my blue. So I'm going to go in with my salty ocean a little bit more. I don't think anyone has any idea what the sea looks like, but this is what my kind of general thought of it is, I suppose. I am a little bit of a weirdo though, so... And I'm just going to randomly splodge that about. And what have I done with my cleanie cloth? There it is. Let's just get all of that off of there. And there we have it. One lovely, inky blended, what I would call like a sea background. It's a really nice effect, I feel. And I'm just going to get some stamps down. And it's a shame, you know, I don't really have any sea creature stamps. At least not out, anyway. Right, I'll just go with the shells, it's fine. Now what I like to do when I'm making a background like this is use 3 or 4 small to medium sized stamps. So I'm just going to get my rocker block. I stare at the ocean every day. I wish I could stare at the ocean every day if I really wanted to. So I've got my little rocker block, well, my medium-sized rocker block here, and I'm just putting these 3 stamps down on there. Now you can use any stamps that you like. I'm just using these because they're kind of a sea theme, and I've made my little sea theme background. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair to do the stamping, because this is the best ink that I find for heat embossing. Now, you don't have to use black. Black is the only colour I have, so that's the only reason why I'm using it. If I had an orange, or if I had a red colour in that, a darker red, I would probably be using that to do this heat embossing with, because it is just clear heat embossing that I'm going to do. And I'm just going to take to the background, and I'm just going to randomly stamp it out. And it doesn't matter if you don't get a clear stamped image on something like this, because it just adds to the effect, I find. So let's just go, turn that round, and let's go like that. Oh, I did that a little bit too square, didn't I? I didn't want that to look like that. I wanted it to look a bit more random. Right, so if we go like that, just getting that on there. And it doesn't matter if you stamp off the edge, because, you know, it's just a bit of tack paper underneath. And what we're aiming for is just a really nice look and feel for the paper. So there we go, I've just done that quickly, and I'm going to get my embossing powder. Now, because I've got a massive pot, I can do this. Not everyone will have a massive pot like I do, because not everyone's weird. So I just poured out 3/4 of my pot onto this paper. I will be shocked if it all comes off and goes back in, because some of that ink is still going to be, yeah. That ink, some of the ink that I went over is still active. So, oh well. It's a thing that happens. Right. And here we go. I'm just going to heat emboss this. You can tell where it's caught the ink because it's all dull, as we did yesterday. And I'm just going to go over with the heat gun. And there we go. We've got a lovely oxide background, and if you really wanted to, you could probably go over, actually I'm going to see if it will work with my aqua markers. I don't think they're going to be strong enough colours though. You'd have to use pretty strong colours to get the colour to take, but you could possibly colour some of those in. I'm just going to give it a quick go with the aqua markers. Oh, well, there you go. I actually took that quite nicely. I'm going to do that. And that is just taking the aqua marker directly to the paper. That's very nice. What a nice little technique to do. I think the next technique we're going to be doing is going to be a pretty big one. I'm actually quite looking forward to trying it. It's one that I've not done before, so we're going to see how it turns out. Here we go, let's see how we get on with this one then. Oh, that's the thin end. We don't want that, do we? That actually is very effective. And there's quite an effective cover for the ink there as well. I approve of this. This is very good. And it doesn't matter if you go over the heat embossing, because it just wipes off. Let's go with a... Let's see how well this will do. I'm just going to try the magenta. Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. I like that a lot. That's stunning, that is. Let's get this all down. This is the first time I've actually done this, guys, so if you're going to do it on the watercolour card, you can use your watercolour pigments to go over it. It's like constipation. Oh God, not why are we saying it's like constipation? Right, there we go. And those look I think those look really, really cool. Nice heatly embossed. You've got your the standout of the shells and everything there. I really, really like that technique. Right. Let's get rid of that heat embossing powder off there. And I'm just going to quickly tidy up my stamps. And before we do my big technique, actually, I'm going to do the faux bleaching technique. And there is 2 ways of doing this. So you've got the spritzing method, and you have the water droplet method, which is what I'm going to do both. Oh dear, where did that stamp go? Oh well, don't worry about that. Oh, there it is. That's fine. Cheeky little devil. Right, let's pop those away for just a moment, out of the way. So, now I'm going to bring this back in, and for the spritzing method, they really are gorgeous, and I love them, and I have them all, and I clearly have a problem. So, I'm just going to spray a little bit of my water down on there, and that will reactivate the ink, and it will also activate the ink on the shells and on the starfish. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a minute just to sit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go over it with some tissue, and we're going to see what the effect is. Now normally I would use kitchen roll for this, but unfortunately I don't have any at the moment. So I'm using toilet tissue. So let's just wait for that to activate a little bit more. I'm just going to have a look and see, make sure. Yeah. Right, so I'm just going to lie my tissue down over it, and I'm just going to pat the tissue down. Now, because it's not gone all over, I'm just going to add a little bit extra there. And then it's just a gentle peel away. And we can see here how the water's affected the ink and the cardstock, so it's lighter. It looks a bit more splashy, as I'd like to call it, and a little bit more spritzy. Let me see if I can get that right up to the camera. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't have zoom, so I have to be the manual zoom. But yes, that's that effect. Now there is another way you can do it, which I like to do sometimes, which is I literally douse my fingers with water, and I will just let the water drip from my fingers nicely over it. And again, I'll give that another couple of seconds to activate. The longer you leave it, the more ink it will pull out of the card. So I'm just going to give that a quick minute, catch up with the chat. They are gorgeous colours and very versatile. They are stunning. I mean, I found Tim Holtz along quite a while before I found Crafter's Companion, and I can say that I've used Crafter's ink pads. Obviously, I've used Tim Holtz ink pads, and I find myself reaching for my Tim Holtz ones when I want to make effects like this. That's all I'm going to say. But that's because I'm personally biased. I love Tim Holtz. I love all his products. So, right, let's just bring that back in and just soak up some of that water that we dropleted on. And as you can see there, we actually caught some of the shells with the drippy waters and the effects that it's given that. So I think that's actually quite a really nice seashell background. So we have that. So we've actually done 3 techniques on that card. So we did ink smushing, we have done our spritzing, and we have done our water droplet as well. So I find that's like that is like 3 techniques on one piece of card. I would always advise using watercolor card for these techniques. It's going to be a lot more acceptable than your smooth cardstock. I find that smooth cardstock is much better for your blending techniques, which is something that we're going to go on to now. So I'll just pop that to the side. Now I'm sure you all know what this is. Now this is a piece of Nina card. It's very good for ink blending. I find it is anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring down... I don't know about anyone else, but all of my ink pads have a little blending brush stuck to the bottom of the Velcro pad. That's just me. So I'm going to bring in my blending brush and I'm just going to take a selection of my colours. So how about we go with... So we'll go with the blue, the orange. Whatever colour should we go with? I'll put that Lucky Clover back so I don't forget where it goes. So let's go with Squeezed Lemonade, Salty Ocean. I'll pop that Wild Honey back. Let's see, and we'll go with the Picked Raspberry as well on this one. So what I'm going to do first is start off with my blue, and then I'm going to move on to my yellow and move on to the pink. So as you can see here, I'm just picking this up on my ink pad. Now the best thing you can do is use your glass mat to be making this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop off a little bit of the ink you can see there, and this will give me a much nicer starting point, so I don't get a big thick thick blended circle that looks hideous. And I'm just going to keep doing the same again, because I'm just going to go down this side of the card, and it doesn't matter if you go off the edge of the card because it all adds to the effect. And I'm just going to keep picking it back up off the glass mat so I'm not wasting anything until I can't blend anymore. Now sometimes I do tend to get a little bit heavy-handed and it does take me a little while to get a nice block of colour going on. But you can see that I'm blending it all out anyway, and it will look lovely by the time it's all sorted. So I'm just going to go in a little bit further along the card with this. And I'm picking up... Now I think this has actually got one of the blending tools that I bought from a particular website that I don't like to talk about. And I bought them because they're cheap, and I think there is a very good reason as to why they were cheap. So, and there we have it, that's our little blue block. Right, these are gorgeous colours and very versatile. 71, actually, is it 71 or is it 72? Wait there, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 24, 48, 72. 72, my darling, because he's just brought out the last one, which is Scorched Timber. Right, I believe it's 72. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not Carol Vorderman. I probably am wrong. But right, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to blend straight over the top of that blue with the yellow. And you can see what's happening here is that the blue and the yellow are merging together and making a really nice green colour. I'll just pick that up off of the plate. Now the only problem with this is that you're not going to ever get, unfortunately, an absolutely perfect blend. Well, actually this one's turning out to be quite good. I believe this has actually got one of my better blending brushes on it. And also the fact that the cardstock is smooth, it's so much easier to get the ink to take. And I'm not having to use my glass mat as a sidebar for this, so I'm actually quite happy with that. But there we go, that's those colours all nicely brought together. And then we're going to go from yellow into the pink. Hi Olga, thank you for coming in. I just love Tim's Oxides. I'm waiting for his distress pencils. Oh, you got the pencils. You go, girl. I am a big fan. I haven't... is that the watercolour pencils, Olga? And this one's got one of those more rubbish blending brushes on it. I really ought to replace them. Let's pick up some more of that ink off of there. And we can see how lovely these colours are just blending into one another without any help. They're just nicely going together, and we're getting that lovely warm range between each one. Let's just pick up some more of that ink off of there. Now, I know you can actually use glycerin as well to do this. I have some glycerin, but I have never used it before. So I'm a little bit apprehensive about going ahead with using it on my live for the first time. But that is our blending technique we have just there. Now, this is only a rough blending technique, a rough blend, because some of my ink pads need replacing, unfortunately. But what I can do on this as well is the same what I did on there. So I'm just going to get my spritzy bottle, and I'm going to aim it as close as I can to the cardstock, and I'm just going to and before that gets out, and I'm just going to let that do its magic for a moment. As we can see, the water's kind of like pulling out, and I'm just going to give it some gentle encouragement just to go around. I think I caught a bit of a big spot there, didn't I? Right, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give the other bit a little extra time, but because I got so over the top on that one, I'm just going to remove that now. And we can see the faux bleaching technique. So we've taken that, what was a quote perfect blend, and we've made a lovely faux bleached sheet. And that is just with a lovely piece of, Nina cardstock, obviously blending my colours out and just spritzing some water on it. It's that easy, guys. Would you believe it's that easy? I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favourite things to do. And what we're going to go on to next is going to be so much fun you're not going to believe, right? So, I'm just going to move that out of the way first. Let's clear off my workspace because this is going to probably take up the whole thing. This is something I've been so excited about doing. So I'm just bringing in a piece of greaseproof paper here. I'm just going to lay that down. Hopefully it's not going to flick back on me. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure that it doesn't, I'm going to put an ink pad on each corner so it doesn't flick back on me. Right, let's get out a piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to get a piece of normal Crafter's Companion stamping, well, what was stamping card and is now just called card, because I have a lot of it. So let's just get a sheet of that out. That is not that. Come on, Gareth. You should know where your cardstock is by now, boy. Right. I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm going to bring down my stencil. So this is the stencil that we're going to use, guys, okay? You're going to love this. You're going to love it. It's so much fun. So all I'm going to do is literally take my ink pad and I'm going to smear it like that, straight across. And I'm going to do this with, oh, where's my green? I put the green back, didn't I? I'm just going to do this with my green and my blue. Oh my god, this is going to be so cool. Right. I'm just going to give it a light spritz to activate it. Then I'm going to bring down my stencil. And I'm just going to set my stencil on it. And as you can see, it's holding to the greaseproof paper at the moment. I'm going to have to put my card to the side because I have to peel this up and put it over. So what we're going to do now is basically like a transferal technique. I like to call it reverse stenciling. So what I'm going to do is, because that's got loads of use in it, I'm just going to roll that up and put it, well, I'm just going to pop it to the side whilst we do this because this is so cool. So it's kind of like printing. This is so, sorry, it's so cool. So I'm just going to roll over the back of my stencil with my brayer. And you can see there that that's going to help hold the stencil to the paper. Not only is that ink going to stay there when we peel it back, I can now ink blend through this and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to get down my, I'm going to use Gilded Sky. So I'm going to use a shimmer ink pad on this because I just think it's such a great idea. And all I'm going to do, and I'm not going to go too heavy-handed on it, I'm going to do it quite lightly because I want the bubbles to show up. I want them to look like bubbles. This is the coolest thing I've ever done. So I'm literally just inking through. I'm not being too heavy-handed. I don't want it to look too even, and I don't want the bubbles to be fully full because I want them to look like they're bubbles, not like they're circles that I've intentionally put there. This really is the best fucking thing. Oh, sorry, I swore. Please ignore the naughty. This is seriously the best thing I've ever done ever. I'm just so excited about it. This is why I and here we go. It's time for the reveal, guys. It's time for the reveal. Right. Let me just put that out. Just stop rolling. Just stay where you put. And then if we gently pull that away. Oh my god. How amazing does that look? to me, that is like the true... I should have gone along with the blue, or maybe I should have changed the colour down on this side to green to have matched that. But look how that looks like bubbles in water, doesn't it? It just looks like bubbles in water. How cool! It is. Oh, it's just amazing. I'm so excited. I love it. It just looks like bubbles in water to me. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Right, so I'm just going to quickly clean off this stencil now, because I think it's been through enough, bless it. And I know this is probably a technique that some people have already done, but I think it is brilliant. It's the first time I've done it, so... Well, not the very first time, but the first time I've gone for it pretty, and it's done really well, actually. So we've got, that's our stencil, so I've done that. And then all I'm going to do as well is, because I don't want to waste that ink that's down on there, I'm just going to get a piece of, another piece of card. And I'm just going to run my brayer over the back of it to pick up that last bit of ink. There's still some left on there as well, but that's okay. We're going to put that to the side. Wait until you try the opposite. Ink the paper first, then the stencil down, then spray with the water. Yes, that's actually a very valid point. I shall do that next. That was a part of my itinerary for this evening anyway, so let's do that. So I'm just going to, now I've not done this with my, let's put that stencil down. And it's so great that the ink actually holds it there as well. I'm just going to give that a minute to activate. Thank you, Crafty Stacey Lou. Well, this is the first time I did the live last night making the cards. A couple of the guys that were there spoke about the inks and what you can do with them. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to do a lesson tonight so that everyone can kind of see what they're doing. I'm quite happy to do some more lessons as well. So I can do lessons around the foil press. I can do lessons around embossing. I can do lessons around, well, pretty much whatever. You can go to the Facebook group as well, which is Handcrafted by Gaz. You can get yourself in there. And I'm going to set up a poll asking what lessons people would like to see and what information you'd like to learn. Because, you know, I've got this knowledge and I'd rather do something with it than just sit on it. And if I can help just one person, you know, I kind of feel like I've done some good in the world. So there we go, let's take that off. And let's remove that. Oh, I think I didn't leave it for long enough, but that looks really good anyway. How cool is that? I like that. That is really good. It's kind of like a reverse bubbly effect. That's so cool. I'm going to pop that up there to dry. Let's clean this stencil off. Get me cleany cloth. I know a lot of people struggle with the foil press, so that might actually be something I go for next. Right, and there we go, that's our stencil. Now we're going to get down to the fun stuff. Well, some more fun stuff. I'm just going to get out another sheet of... Actually, I could just use the back of that cardstock, couldn't I? So I'm going to just use the back of this cardstock. It's going to be easier for me. So, have you ever thought, I want to make something look like it's, well, really distressed, really crinkly, really different? I'm just going to get some green down as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate those inks with my water spray. And you can use something as innocuous, oh, that's a big word, as innocuous, and that's just generally around the house that I had in my hand a second ago. Oh, there we go. As plastic, a plastic wrap. And all I'm going to do is just drag those colours together with it, and I'm going to go... And it really gives such a nice splattered effect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay down some... Where did I put the green away again, didn't I? This is what I get for being one of those people that likes to be tidy. So all I'm going to do, reactivate that, and I'm going to go back in again with just the green. And I'm going to pick it up and move it about the cardstock. And I mean, this is just with a general what I like to call a crunchy plastic bag that you have hanging around the house, and it gives such a lovely effect. Now you could do this with pastel colours, and you could use this to make an Easter egg card. I mean, how brilliant. Just going to pick up a little bit there because I missed the space. And I'm going to do the same with my yellow. And because you're picking... it's not my yellow, my blue. I'm going to do the yellow in a minute after I've done the blue. I'm just activating it, and because you're picking up so little of it on the plastic, it's going such a long way when you're using it, and you can still move it about on the card. And it gives such a good layered effect, I find. Would that... Yes, that would work with bubble wrap. That is that was something I was going to show as well, but unfortunately I don't have any bubble wrap at the moment. So let's get into it with the yellow. And I'm just going to re-scrunch the bag a bit so it gives it a different effect each time I'm doing it. So there we go, that's the yellow. Re-scrunch the bag a little bit. Give it a wobble to... And I think just a little bit of the pink. I'm just picking it up. And you could also do this with the colours that you would expect from fireworks. And you could use it to make a nice fireworks card or New Year's card. And what I'm going to do as well, so I'm just going to use my cleanie cloth just to pick up any excess, because that will add a little bit of texture from the microfiber cloth onto it as well. And there you have it. A nice smooshy blendy background. And you could use that for anything. There we go. Whatever. Oh, and my favourite. Let's go with the sprays. So you can use the sprays just as you would use the ink pads. So I'm just going to quickly pop these ink pads away now that I'm done with them. We don't want to remind you through the... Yeah, it kind of gives that like smashed glass effect, doesn't it? I think it looks really, really good. I do like the smashed glass effect. Alright, so next we're going to come down to the Oxide sprays. Now this also covers these lovely little darlings as well. So in the Distress spray range you can get the Distress sprays, the Oxide sprays and also the mica sprays. So I've got some of the mica stains. Oh sorry, it's a little bit too high up. And I've got some of the Oxide sprays. I don't have any of the actual Distress sprays. I only have the Oxide ones because I really, really like them. So let's pop that back where we got that from. And we also have the re-inkers. I'm going to be using the re-inkers in a minute. The re-inkers are really good with my airspray gun. And a little bit of a re-inker ink goes a very, very long way. So that'd be nice to show you as well. So I'm just going to get out... I'm going to use some of my scrap card for this. Let's just see what we've got. Because I'm just going to do some spray techniques. There we go, that's a nice little square of Nina cardstock. And literally, I don't know if you guys watched my live where I made the lovely spray booth with the Bella Luna stuff. But it is always handy to have, especially if you want to use the Oxide sprays. So I'm just going to get that. And you can do pretty much the same techniques with the Oxide sprays as what you do with the ink pads. So the only thing you have to do is activate the paint, which is a little bit of a nuisance, but once you get there, you get there. Right, and I'm just going to give a few gentle spritzes. You could do it face down or to the side or however you want to do it. And that is just the general effect that you can get with one of the sprays. Now what I can also do is the same effect. I can just go over the top of that before it dries, put some tissue on top of it, and that will give us the reminiscent of a faux bleaching technique. So there we go. And if you wanted to, you could actually do that onto another piece of card, so then you have two pieces of card that have the same effect on, and that gives that the faux bleaching technique straight out of the bottle. And then if you wanted to be really fancy smancy, is use your mica stain. I'm just going to pop that back in there and just give it a gentle wisp from up high. And again, go over it with just a little piece of my tissue to pick up the excess. And you can use a lot more of the spray than what I did, because I'm only doing this just for the demonstration purpose. And then you can still see the mica on there, and you have the sparkle. How's that? I think that's really cool. So that is another technique, using the Oxide sprays and the mica stain sprays, which are really nice. And you can build that up and make it into a very big, like, distressed background. Now we're going to get onto the the finer part of the repertoire, which is the re-inkers. I'm going to go for the re-inkers and the airspray. I don't know if maybe some of you guys have been sat waiting for this, but it is I believe it's the highlight of the evening. So I'm just going to use another square of my Nina cardstock. And I'm going to activate my re-inkers by doing the shaky to wakey. Heat wave, this is my island in the sun. Arriba, arriba, arriba. So there we go, that's those all activated. Now, using the airspray gun, you can only do one colour at a time. I'm just going to take the end off of this, and you need to you really ought to clean it out between colours. So it's top loader. Just pour a little bit of the re-inker into there. I'm going to go with my rusty hinge to start with, and I'm just going to put a few drops in because I only need a few drops, and then I'm going to put in some water. Now that will help activate the ink, and it will make the ink go further. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my water in from my spray bottle. Now you can use the oxide sprays or the re-inkers with the airspray gun. You cannot use the mica with the airspray gun because it will clog up all of the insides and the workings. You don't want that. So you can hear it. It's producing its lovely bit of air. And all I'm going to do is face it down onto the card and pull back the nozzle. Now, the stronger that you make the colour mixture, the stronger the colour you're going to get down on the card. And you don't want it to flick like that just did. Right, I'm just going to see if the colours, most of the ink from that is gone. Now normally I would clean this out before carrying on. But I want to see what it's going to do. So I'm just going to add a couple of drops of ink to the water that I've just put in the barrel. Oh, I'm so glad that you got the bubble wrap that you wanted. And now before the green starts coming through, it's still going to shoot out a little bit of that orange because it'll still be left in the barrel coming through. But now I don't want to go too hard with the green because I still want to see that orange. So, and this is the kind of effect that you can get with an airspray gun using those inks. And again, if I want to faux bleach that, I can just shove a bit of tissue over the top of it. I could put my cleaning cloth over the top of it just to give it that extra texture from the microfiber, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to do that. And there we go. You can use any of the re-inkers to do this method. I think it's absolutely, it gives a really nice effect. I think it's very you can get a lot of very vintage things from this. So if you were to stamp on this with texture stamps, you can build it up into something really, really nice. And you could use some of the flower stamps as well that came from crafters with the masks. You could mask it off beforehand. Stamp mask, airspray a nice background on it like this, texture stamps, and someone's going to think you've spent months making this card. So I'm just going to quickly clean out my spray booth. The video for the spray booth is on my channel if you want to go back and watch it, and you can learn how to make your spray booth and make yourself one. All it is some paper, some vinyl, and some duct tape and some mount board, which are all the fun things. Right, so I believe if I get a piece of card out, I'm going to try some of the glycerin with the inks. This is going to be very brave of me because I've not used the glycerin yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just the one colour, because I can always replace the blending pad if I need to. Would that would die cut rocks and mountains and look beautiful as it. So the effects that you can get with the airspray gun are just fantastic. If I can find a link for one in the if I can find a link for one on Amazon, I will put it in the description box so you guys can all find it. So I've got some vegetable glycerin. You can pick this up on YouTube, or you can even buy it in Boots if you chemists. A lot of them sell glycerin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some ink and put that down over there, and I'm going to put a little dab of me glycerin down. I'm going to pick that up with my blending brush, and then I'm just going to blend that out. Wow! And I'm just going to keep picking that up and building it up. Wow! How amazing is that? What a easy blend. Wow. That is just... wow. I think I might have put too much of that glycerin down, but wow. Look at the blend. It's seamless. That is just fab. I'm just going to spray my blending pad just to give it a little bit of a clean, just to make sure all that I've not left any of the glycerin in it. But that is stunning. I'm going to do that with something else now. Right, let's just wipe that off. So I used orange. Let's get some nice colours in here. Wow, that's fabulous. That is so fabulous. The blending, and it's slightly shiny. Let's see what it does. Does it calm down when you... wow. Right, so I'm going to put a tiny little splodge of the glycerin down this time. I'm not going to put a massive amount. I do have a lot of glycerin, so it doesn't really matter. But let's see how it does with the green. So let's put some... pick that up. Wow. Pick some more of that ink up and put it down there before I go back in for that last bit of glycerin. And wow. I cannot believe just how stunning that blends. Wow, that is just beautiful. Right, let's clean out this pad because we want to make sure we don't leave any glycerin in it at all whatsoever. I can't believe how well that's gone. That's been absolutely fabulous, you know. So I'm going to go back in with the colour on the ink pad without anything else, and I'm just going to encourage that to blend out. Wow. It's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right, guys, so if you ain't got no glycerin, I suggest you go get yourself some glycerin, because that is fabulous. Welcome back, Crafty Stacey Lou. Right now, so shall we put some of these techniques into practice? Oh, I put that thing away without putting them. Well, actually, what we'll do is we'll just review everything first. So let's put those away. Red, orange. Right, so we're just going to review our techniques that we've done so far. Green. So we have done spritz sprays, which are the Oxide distress sprays. You can also use these in the air gun as well if you want to. Very, very good, I would say. And we used the air spray gun to mix two colours to make a really nice sandy coloured for a background for a card. That's got glitter in it. How the heck did that get glitter? I didn't use glitter on that, so I don't know how it's got glitter on it, but apparently it's got glitter on it. I'm not sure the hows and whys and wheres, but apparently. Then we have our plastic scrunch. You could also do that with a sponge, and you could also do that with bubble wrap. Then we have our stencil, where we put the ink onto the back of the stencil, set it down, and then blend through the stencil to get that really nice bubbly effect. I love that bubbly effect so much. It will make a brilliant ocean card. Seriously, absolutely. And then we did put the ink down on the card first and then go through with the stencils with the water spray, which I think gives a nice, really nice effect of the water there. And we also picked up the ink off the back of the stencil. Then we also did our ink blending directly onto the card, and we faux bleached that with the water spritz, which I went a little bit heavy-handed on. And then we did our glycerin blends, which I think is absolutely fabulous. And we also did on the watercolour cardstock, building up the background with the inks, and then faux bleaching with the droplet effects from the fingers, spraying your fingers and dropping the water directly onto the cardstock, and the heat embossing and colouring those in with aqua markers. So we've got all of those lovely techniques. Is there anything that anybody would like to see? Or is there anything you'd like me to go back over? I'm very happy to do another run through on anything that anybody would like to see. So I'm just going to do a quick clean up whilst some of the whilst we're waiting for some messages to come in, asking what people would like to see. I'll do a little bit of a tidy, because you know I've made a big mess like I normally do. Hi Brizzle Lizzle, hi Gaz and all, late joining but popped on to say hi. Don't have much battery left, so might have to catch up. That's no problem, my darling. You enjoy whatever you've got to do. This will be on YouTube later, so you will be able to watch through anyway, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. I need to start making some backgrounds. Well, I mean, girl. Don't we all need to start making some backgrounds, I feel. Right, I'm going to need to clean that out in a minute. So if everybody's happy with everything that I've shown, I think I might be very kind to myself. And I might just end stream here for tonight. And then tomorrow we can pick up And I will make a lovely card with all of the techniques that we've learnt this evening. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to do the embossing folder letterpress technique. I am so naughty. So naughty. So let's do that. And you know what? I'm going to do it with my Oxide sprays. So let's see what we got. We've got a nice abandoned coral. Let's get her out. So for this one, I'm going to use... Oh, we've got a little bit of a bigger piece of cardstock in there hiding. Just needs to be a little bit bigger. A little bit wider. This is the joy of trying to use up your scraps, guys. Perfect. Right. So for this one, I'm going to use abandoned coral, prize ribbon, and lucky clover. So, what we want to do is pick the side with the raised. And I'm just going to activate these sprays. And I'm literally just going to spray. Oh, that was a big spray. Wasn't quite expecting that. Oh, sugar plums. And let's go back over again with some more. Let's get that into the embossing folder. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you use your spray booth instead of just spraying randomly onto the side. So let's get this into the Now I know everybody's machine is a little bit different. So for a 3D embossing folder, my machine, my Gemini, is very happy with one plate, one cutting plate, magnetic shim, and the plastic shim. Let's get that to run through. Now we can do this in a multitude. Oh wow! Oh, look at that! Oh my god! Look how frickin' amazing that is! Ah, that's so cool! Oh my gosh! And that's the deboss side. So we should have done it really on the side with the depressions on. But wow! Look at that! We can do another one. I'm going to do another one. Where's my cleany cloth? Let's just get that excess up off of there. Oh my golly gosh, look at that. How cool. It's accentuated in all the right places. So amazing. Gilding wax. Yeah, let's get some gilding wax on that bad boy. Let's do it. Right. I think it's not doing so great because it's the deboss side, not the emboss side. But I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly on there. I mean, because the effect that it's giving anyway, just from the fact that it's I don't think you'd want it to be perfectly gold, would you? Because look how cool that is. Look at the sparkle. I love it. How amazing. Hi, Next USA. How amazing is that? That is so cool. Hi Carolina, thank you for joining in. That is everything, isn't it? Right, let's do this again. So, on the... Oh wow, that's so cool. So, let's just clean up this mess that I've made. Because we all know what I'm like for cleaning. Let's get another piece of that card out. This is going to look so cool. Right, another piece of card. So, on the side where it debosses on a 3D one, let's just spray some spritz and spray some spritz and spray some spritz, and I'm just going to put a little extra pink on the top because there wasn't enough. I'm going to put that in there, clean off what's on the back there. Apparently I get too overzealous with this by the looks of it. Right, let's clean up the big old mess I've made, because that is a big old mess with the sprays actually. You can also do this with the ink pads, but you get a more straight, smoother effect than with the sprays. Let's clean that plate off as well before we run it through machine. How cool is this? Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it. I should have used the spray booth. I said this twice. I'm so terrible. Right, let's get that through. Get it out. Get it out, Bizzle Lizzle. I'm going to call you Bizzle Lizzle, even though it's Busy Lizzie. I'm so sorry, Bizzle Lizzle. You are now my Bizzle Lizzle friend. Wow. Right, let's just get that cloth on there. And the greatest thing is as well, is you always are going to get a different one every time doing this. It's going to be different every time. It's going to be so cool. Right, on this one, I'm going to go with the silver gilding wax, because I feel like it... I feel like it could benefit from silver. Actually, we might have a mixture of silver and gold on this one. Let's just get rid of some of that off. My finger. I thought it could have benefited from the silver, but... let's just spread that across. And there we go. All the mixture of the both on that. Oh, look how stunning that is. Oh, wow. How stunning, the mixture of the silver and the gold. Oh, it just looks brilliant. How cool is it? Oh, my camera's on the wonk. I didn't realise. Whoops. How cool is that? It just looks so... Oh, it's so shiny and sparkly and brilliant. It's so cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. Right, let's get that all nicely cleaned up. Curran, I would like to do the technique with the photo paper, but unfortunately I couldn't get any baby wipes. I know, isn't it so shiny? I love it so much. It's so cool. Which set is this from, Gaz? Right, this is the Sarah Signature Nautical Collection. this came out 5 years ago, so I've got near enough the entire collection. There's 4 pieces, three or 2 pieces that I'm currently missing. I shopped around the world to get my hands on this. I even managed to find a paper pad. I'm just so happy. So, yeah. So that is just, I think that's the best technique I've ever done with those sprays. That is just, I've got to do another one just because I can, really. I'll tell you what, let's do a 2D embossing folder this time instead of the 3D. We're going to use the anchor. I'm just going to clean this off because it's gotten a little bit... And the best thing as well is it's all just wiped clean. It's all just wiped clean. Totally wiped clean. Goes nicely back in the packet and put away. There we go. Put it back in the packet. Right, let's get another piece of card out. I'm so happy with this. It's like Christmas for me. It's so weird. I've discovered something new and I love it. So, right, where it is, I've got that. What kind of other things would go with an anchor? No, actually, we've got. Oh, I'm just trying to find the right colours. That will go with me anchor. So, no, I'm not fancying that one. I will use, so that's the deboss side and that's the emboss side. So I want to put it on this side. And I'm just going to spray. You did find a paper pad. The only bits I got... Yeah, I have the one 8x8 paper pad. Right, there we go. Let's clean up that mess. I'm terrible for making a mess. Pop that card onto there. And put that there for now. I'm hoping this gives the same effect as what the 3D embossing folder did. Now for a 2D embossing folder you'll want both cutting mats and nothing else. Oh, it is an absolute stunning beauty. As soon as I can get my hands on a scanner, I will be scanning that paper pad in to keep. Right, let's see how that's turned out. Oh, wow. That does look really, like, maritime-y. Let's pop me cleany cloth over the top because it gives texture. And we love a bit... Oh my grief, look at that. That is everything. Right, what I'm going to do is, because obviously the card got a little bit wet and it's not as... The 3D effect is a little bit better. I'm just going to give it a run through again now that it's dry. I'm going to line it back up. And give it another run through. Which should be fine as long as you find... You should be able to feel... Feel out where it sits. And just run that through again. Oh, sugar plums. There we go, that gives it a bit of a better emboss. It does give it a bit of a better emboss. And now all I'm going to do is go in with my silver embossing my silver. And I'm just going to pick at the edges. On that rope. And there we go. Let's blend that out a bit more, because that's just looking a little bit too... And there we go. It really picks out that anchor so well. I think it looks really, really nice. Very grunged. And my hands are absolutely slaughtered with ink. So, right guys, just for the benefit of the people that weren't here at the beginning, I'm just going to go through I'm going to go through all the techniques we've done so far this evening. Let me just... This camera is so naughty, it doesn't sit where I want it to all the time. There we go. That's better. Thank you so much, guys, for saying that. I really do. I think it is an absolutely stunning piece. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Right, let's just clean that down and put those waxes back, because we're done with those for now. And let's go through the techniques that we did again. So we started off with the watercolour paper, building up the colours, heat embossing the stamps, and watercolouring with the aqua markers, the actual stamps, and then we did some water droplets on there to give it the faux bleaching effect. We did sprays on their own with a bit of mica spray on there as well, so you've got that background and how that works. We did ink blending with glycerin, which was really good. I love how that came out, and a little bit of glycerin and a little bit of ink goes a long way. A very, very long way. We did standard blending on a piece of cardstock, and then we spritzed it with water to give another a different faux bleaching effect on normal white cardstock. We did ink pulling and stencil, put the stencil on top of it and spray through with water to give that effect. And on the other side, we pulled the ink onto the greaseproof paper and pulled it up. We did the crinkled plastic bag effect, which was just literally just inking down onto the glass mat, picking it up with the plastic bag, the crinkly plastic bag, and smooshing it onto the paper directly. We also did, on the greaseproof paper, the ink that we put down, put the stencil over the top of it, and then we ink blended through it. I really love how this effect happened. It looks literally just like bubbles in water to me. Hi Christine, darling. It just hit me that you were doing a live. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. It's not a problem. And also with the air spray gun, we put 2 different colours of re-inker fluid through with some water, and we made this lovely spray technique. Olga earlier on did say that it would be very good to use for mountains, and somehow glitter's gotten onto it. I don't know how, but I didn't use glitter on it. But then it's the curse of this room. There is glitter everywhere. Don't you worry, Christine, my darling. It is not a problem. And we also have just done these lovely techniques with the 3D embossing folder. We used the Oxide sprays to spray straight down onto the embossing folders, and I just can't get over it. I really can't. And then we highlighted it with some gold, gilding wax on that one, and we did a mixture of silver and gold on this one. It just looks so amazing, absolutely stunning. And what we literally just did was a 2D embossing folder, and I went over with some silver gilding wax to highlight the areas. It's just absolutely brilliant. I love it so much. I've had such a great time showing you guys all these techniques. I'm on 1% now, Gaz. I'm going to get cut off soon. It's been great. We'll catch up soon. No problem, my darling. I hope you have a lovely evening. Those shells are stunning. They are so brilliant. And I didn't... That's something I just thought of spur of the moment. I just thought, you know what? Normally I do it with the ink. So why not give it... Why not give it a go with the sprays as well? But I can do one with the... I'll tell you what, we'll do one with the inks just so that you guys get to see it with the inks as well before we call it a night. So let's get another. It's going to be a little bit smaller, it would seem, because have I ran out of slightly larger? No, I haven't. Let's put that back in there, and let's grab. So I'm just going to go over with me. So this will be a single colour one for a nice letter press technique. And I'm just using the saltwater taffy oxide for that. And I'm just going to, from a height, I'm just going to give it a little spritz, just so that the ink activates a little bit. And we'll see what it does. Right, so the 3D embossing folder is one plate, one cutting plate, magnetic and plastic shim. Straight through the G2. Please do watch all the way. Please do watch through, Caroline. I've done some lovely techniques this evening, as I've shown them off a few times, to be honest. Right, let's see how this has fared. And even with one colour, how lovely does that look? And what I can do as well is just clear that off. And what I'm going to do is go over with a little bit of my... I'm going to go over with my Salty Ocean. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Just give it a little spray from a height to activate it. I'm going to place that back in exactly as it was. And I'm going to run that through my Gemini again. And here we go. Wow. And that's just two colours that I've done on there. I think that gives a really, really nice effect. It kind of gives it that seashell, sea, actual in the sea, like they're in the sea effect. And then just like with the other ones, I'll grab down the silver gilding wax, I think, on this one. And I'm not going to go too crazy because I still want the colours to be there. But I'm going to also I think I went on too steep with that one. let's go for the middle. And there we go. How beautiful is that? That is just, oh, I'm loving that. That's just like, that is under the sea right there. Literally. That is under the sea. Right there. My gosh. The things you can do with these techniques, guys, it is literally limitless. And these inks are literally the best thing for it. I cannot, you know, I cannot impress on you how amazing these inks work with everything. Any chance I could show the paper pad? Of course I could show the paper pad. That is no problem at all. But what I'm going to do quickly first, before I go anywhere near that paper pad, is clean my hands of this mucky mess in which I've created. So let's just clear some of this off. But just so you guys know, you get a fair warning in this. This is what happens to your hands when you do all this inking. So be warned. It's what happens. But I could tell you that is the, oh my gosh, that is the best effect I've seen. That's just blown me away, and I'm the one who's done it. So weird. Paper pad. Right, okay. So here we are, guys. Oh, actually, it'd be better off doing it on the overhead camera, wouldn't I? Right. We have this lovely ship and signature. Oh wait, there. Can I pull that down? I don't know if I can. I'm going to try. I don't want to ruin the angle too much though. This is what we call zooming. Right, here we go. That could be a bit of a... Oh. Let's just refocus that back down there. There we go, we've got this lovely ship and text. And there's a few pages of that. We've got the lovely deck paper. I've not used any of this yet, so I haven't touched it. It's just too nice to use. It literally only came a couple of days ago. So this is kind of like a deck and world map feel with the nice compass down in the corner there. Then we've got the textured text, which is kind of like on a Hessian background. I like that. Then we've got a mixture of shells and some, well, it looks like a wall in a nautical gift shop, really, is what I would call it. So let's just skip those pages off. Then we've got a lovely seashell medley on those papers. Let's try not to skip the actual next page of papers there, Gareth. We have this lovely sea ship on a Hessian background with the nice anchor there. These papers are lovely. We've got the nice... see, these all tie in with the stamps as well that they bought out, which is blooming brilliant. And you can also ink these, because they've got no coating on them. You can be doing like your splodging effect straight onto there. You can be doing your faux bleaching straight on there. If you wanted to, you can use your inks to colour that in and paint the paper, basically. Give it some colour, give it that pizzazz. And you can do that with your inks. All you've got to do is smush it down onto your glass mat, get a paintbrush, bit of water on, boom, bish bash bosh, and you're watercolouring with inks. It's absolutely amazing. We've got a different variation of the decking paper there. For gilding wax applications, I use small eye makeup applicators from the dollar store. Works great and keeps your hands clean. Yeah, I should get some. But, yeah. I just haven't, because I'm a lazy git. We all know this, right? Then we have this lovely seashell paper that kind of that coordinates really well with that embossing folder. So that's nice. I really like that. And then we've got another half wall seashell with the rope in a different colour. Then this is one of my favourite ones. It's a nice watercolour seascape background with the Hessian texture again. And then we've got a slightly darker colour on the script with the Hessian background texture. And finally we've got the shells in a muted colour. Oh no, wait, there's still one more piece. I've undersold myself here. We've got the ship again on a darker Hessian texture with the anchor and the ship's wheel. I really like that one. So right, there we go, guys. I'll go through the collection bits with you as well, so what you've seen already and what other bits of the collection I've got. Bearing in mind, again, like I said, I had to shop around the world to get this, so some of this came from Canada, some of this came from Norway, some of this came from Ireland, I believe, as well. I literally shopped the world for this. So we've got the ship's anchor. We've got the lovely seashell corner. We've got the 3D seashell medley embossing folder. Let's go for all the big ones first. We've got the ship's deck as well, which I think would look great. Actually, shall we do that as well? Shall we do that as well? This is another 3D embossing folder. I'm going to do this as well because I think it's going to look bloody great. Right, have I got another sheet of that slightly larger cut? I do. Fabulous. Let's do this. Right, let's get that. This is what I do, you guys. Like, I just go through things and I'm like, yeah, let's try this. Let's do that. So I have. Oh, where is he? So sorry, guys. I won't be a second. I'm just trying to find the right distress spray because I know I have it. Where is it? Lemonade, fossilized amber, black soot, spun sugar, lost shadow, broken china. Where's that brown? Oh, it's right here in front of me. Duh. Right. Shaky to wakey. Who needs a gym when you're a crafter, right? So, let's just get the right side of this now. So we'll want this. I can't really tell, so I'm just going to do that side. And I'm just going to. With some red. And then we're going to go over it with a brown. And I'm going to clean up this mess. Because I'm a nuisance. So the two colours that I've used on there just now are the lumberjack plaid and scorched timber. I really think I ought to put that back where I took it from. Sorry if it's a bit. Let's just get that back to where it should be. Here we go. And now we're going to emboss it. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's try that again, shall we? Right, there we go. Wow. Let's get the cleany cloth on that just to take the quite so sure what went wrong with that, but it didn't do any harm, so we're happy. I think that looks brilliant. That looks like proper age decking. I'll just bring that down a little bit better. I don't know what's going on with this camera. I shouldn't have moved it really, but there we go. This is what I get for moving things. Sorry guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of a... There. And there we go. That's another one. How cool is that? So that's how far we got with that. So let's bring those back down. So we've seen, so far, we've seen the ship deck, which is the 3D embossing folder. We've seen the seashell medley, which is a 3D embossing folder. We've seen both the shell corner and the ship's anchor. We've got the fancy shells. We've got the aged rope, that's a really nice one. The sea life accessories, which has got the lovely seahorse dye and some of the like underwatery things that you would have. I used those to make this card, which was really nice. That's one of my favourites that I've made ever. The porthole dies, which were integral in making that card. We've got the lovely anchors away, which has got the two little anchors and the little life preserver. We've got these lovely shell stamps and dies. Now these are great for layering on cards as well, guys, in case you were wanting to do that. So you could use the stamps in conjunction with these ones as well. So we've also got the nautical elements there as well. We've got the Grand Shell, that's another really good one. We've got By the Sea, which is this lovely boat, lighthouse, small shell and wooden stake. And then we've got the Seize the Day sentiments. And that is the majority of the entire collection. I only missed 3 pieces of it. So I think I'm going to have to go on another hunt to see if I can find the last 3 bits. I'd love to have them. So guys, what we've done this evening is a lot of work, a lot of lesson, and I hope you have all enjoyed it as much as I have, because I have had an absolute whale of a time doing all this with you guys. And if anyone has any questions about anything, please do ask away. Well, of course you have the whole set, Christine. I don't think there's a set you don't have, is there? Let's just put them down there. Well, on that note then, guys, if nobody has any questions, I am going to wish you all a lovely good morning, good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me this evening. I love every single one of you. I should hopefully be back tomorrow night doing another make. I'm going to sit down and have a think about what I'm going to do. I will post the live on the Handcrafted by Gaz Facebook group, and I will also be posting the live on my YouTube. So make sure that you hit that like and you hit the subscribe button and any other button that you need to press. Just hit all the buttons, the good ones. So you all have a lovely night. I'm going to catch up with you again tomorrow when we have another live. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye guys.